Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Ohio. And I got a doozy of a match for you guys. It's got everything in it, so hope you guys are ready. But let's get into our commander. Azure Lane, New Jersey with Arthas the Cold as an inspiration. This will explain why I use my catapult fighters during the match. For those of you who don't know, while a catapult fighter is active, I get a 20% bonus to all of my battleship damage while the catapult fighter is in the air. So keep that in mind. I also have Azure Lane, Colorado for main battery reload as well as main battery shell grouping. Okay? And of course, New Jersey's base trait gives us main battery shells that travel over 10 kilometers, deal extra damage up to 5%. And then, of course, we're running flammable cannoneer gyrating drill bits on second thought, and don't you just love it? Deal more damage with Citadel strikes, up to 15% more damage, and 7% more damage, or 7% better main battery dispersion. All right? This really is about the epitome of a damage build as you can get. And, of course, we are running Fight Fire with Fire, because you're crazy if you don't. All right? As far as our loadout, we are actually running Secondary Batteries Mod 2 instead of AA, because the Ohio does enjoy having longer range secondaries. We have steering gears still, because I tend to do the Dreadnought Shuffle, and I'm usually moving forward, so Propulsion Mod is less useful for my playstyle, and steering gears allows me to do a lot more. But that's just my personal preference. Concealment System Mod, and of course we are running the Artillery Plotting Room Mod 2. This is the legendary version of it, so we have upgraded the consumable, or the, not consumable, the equipment twice. If you don't know how to do that, when you go to mount a whatchamacallit, you can press X on the controller, or I guess it maybe be square on PlayStation to upgrade using steel, and then that upgrade it again to legendary. So this gives me not only a better dispersion for every 30,000 damage that we get, but we also get extra damage for every kill we get. So extra 5% damage for every kill that we get, up to, I think, 20% or 25%. So basically, this thing turns into an absolute nightmare for everything if it starts rolling early. So with all of that being said, let's get into the gameplay, shall we? Alrighty, so we're going to be on Riposte. Wait, this sounds familiar. And we're going to be in the Ohio. And we are going to spawn on the left flank. And we are going to do basically the same thing that we just did in the, was it the Kansas? I think it was the Kansas video. Where we are going to just kind of be a little bit of patient. And by patient, I mean just let the enemies do dumb things, right? Believe you or not. Believe me or not. The enemy will do dumb things if you give them a chance. But you got to give them a chance. Don't do the dumb thing before the enemy. Okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But, yeah, we're going to showcase just how goofy people have gotten in this game. One of the ways that we are going to show is that people get way too comfortable sitting behind islands. They think they're untouchable. Let me break it down for you guys. If you're sitting behind an island and you can shoot over the island, okay, and somebody gets you detected, you can also be shot over the island that you're shooting over. Does that make sense? Somewhere in this gigantic map, somebody has a chance to shoot you back. So let this be a lesson to anybody who decides to sit behind an island and think that they're safe while sitting broadside, firing their guns, spotted in front of God and everybody, because guess what? You're not as safe as you think you are. And this lesson is about to be driven home hardcore style. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I could have been a lot more aggressive in this one, but I didn't. And I'm kind of regretting that I didn't, because I feel like this match had special potential. And you'll see why in a minute. Now, right off the bat, we have a Kronstadt going from right to left. He's slowing down. He's thinking about stopping, right? So I'm already sighting him in, but then he speeds back up, and he's like, I probably shouldn't sit here. And he gets around the corner, and he's going to survive for a while, because he gets around behind the island. I can't shoot him, right? Now, I'm already rotating my guns from right to left here, anticipating going left into the Charlie Cap alongside this giant island, providing crossfire support for my team, right? You can do a lot of work from this little spot, and very few people ever use it. I don't know why people don't use it, but very few people do use it. Now, fun fact, there's a spot exactly like this on the other side, exactly across from us at Bravo. Also, by the way, enemy Shima in Bravo. Shocker. Our Shima is in the game, but he has decided he doesn't want to play. But here you can see Schlieffen. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this Schlieffen, right? This Schlieffen is sitting back there, broadside as all get out. You can see it on the map. We get a shot out, we hit him for 5,800 respectively. And then we go ahead and we're like, okay, well, the guy's not moving. He's just sitting there broadside. If we can get him spotted again, we can get a good shot. Now, we're going to use the island to protect ourselves from being spotted. As long as there's nobody around the corner to shoot us, look at this beautiful shot. We've got a beautifully broadside Schlieffen. I can see the bow of him. I see the front turret. I move the gun. He starts reversing, and wait for it. Blam! Arthas comes through again. The triple citadel, 5 shells hit the target, and down he goes from full health to no health in very few seconds. Just straight up deleted, right? Like, again, I just want to point that out. If you can see other people and shoot them, and they can see you, somebody can probably shoot you back. Now, this Montana, this guy is not going to do anything. He is going to run away like Simba and never return, right? Dude is just out, which is fine. But you'll notice in a second, there's going to be a smoke screen pop up right off my bow. Now, I know that the Shima was in the Bravo Cap. And I know that the Shima is now in the Charlie Cap, or at least kind of. I'm located, right? I am the closest person to the Shima. And you can see we get a nice little shot there against the Yamato's broadside. Unfortunately, Arthas was already down by that point, so it didn't really matter. But we're at 100,000. Look at the smoke screen. That is terrifying. Thankfully, I had already fired, meaning I'm hidden. You know, his smoke screen doesn't really do anything to help him. Now, as much as I want to push this smoke screen, I don't have a lot of support. There's people here, but I can't count on them. We've talked about this in the past. I look over, I've got Kronstadt thinking about it, and he decides he wants to back up. So we don't have any shot there. Then defense was thinking about it. And again, my whole role here is to provide crossfires, right? If these guys start to push forward, I can get a good crossfire over that island from this location. And there's not a whole lot they can do about it. Unfortunately, that crossfire never quite materializes. However, the smokescreen does. Now, our destroyer has finally decided to move forward. He has gone in, or getting ready to go into the Alpha or Bravo Cap. And so I'm going to start reversing away from the island and thinking about pushing into the cap and trying to push this Shima, right? You'll see the moment that I do it. I'm about to get my Arthas button back when my catapult fighter returns from cooldown. So I'm thinking, okay, now's our opportunity. Let's flip the guns to the right. You'll see that that's what I do when I look to the right and then I lock my guns. That's going to flip my guns around to the right. And you'll see that the enemy Shima does get spotted. Our Shima is kind of right on the fringe of the cap. Their Shima is sitting there spotted. I'm like, please, everybody, focus the Shima. And our destroyer is shooting at him, presumably. Somebody else is possibly shooting at him, but unfortunately, he gets to go dark. So now it's our time. Assuming that this guy launched his torpedoes, now's the perfect time to get him off the board, right? We've got an Arthas, so worst case scenario, we take most of his health, leave him with nothing. Best case scenario, we just dev strike him in one shot, right? Even with AP loaded, it's not bad. Now, one thing I did forget is that I have, on second thought, I could have swapped our ammo here, but I didn't think about it, right? But enemy comes out with his engine busted. We go ahead and slap that. We go ahead and get the Arthas out there, and we get the slap with the rear guns as well, and the enemy, or the friendlies, all just remove the man. That is why you have to work together, right? Anticipating what the enemy is going to do, get out there, try to help get rid of them, right? And then they're no longer a threat. Now, Iwami's coming over, and I'm salivating at this point. Got a beautiful looking broadside. Fire the front guns, and we fire the rear guns, but unfortunately, right as I was about to fire the rear guns, he ends up turning away. We look over to our left, the Kronstadt is still there, still being a potential problem for the future. I don't want to give my broadside to a super cruiser like that if I can avoid it. Remember, Kronstadt does have big old guns. I want to say it's 305s on that thing. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a super cruiser. But I don't want to give it my broadside, especially at close range. I just assume that he can Citadel me, and so we don't want to do that, right? So you can see I'm kind of paying attention to him, not really worried about the Montana or the Iwami at this point, and that's when a second Montana gets spotted, all the way out in the distance. Now look at his angle to us, guys. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people will simply aim directly at center line, like I just did right there, go, okay, we're going to be able to slash this guy, right? He's over-angled. We can crush him. You got to remember that armor is angled, and he's got one of the best belts in the game, right? So you're not likely to go through and Citadel him at this angle. However, what you can do is exploit his armor angle. He's clearly AFK at this point. He's just decided he doesn't want to play anymore, which I guess is fair. But we're going to go ahead and try to avoid the torpedo belt, right? Avoid that belt armor and try to get behind it, but still shoot towards the turrets. And this is going to be rewarded as we absolutely smash that man. But in true Spartan fashion, once again, gotta leave him with just enough to get away. And now we're coming around the corner. We've got the Iwami out here. I'm about to get another Arthas button, so I'm going to just go ahead and aim high, like the Air Force, go for the superstructure, and as we get the shot out, of course, we're going to use our Arthas button here. And we, of course, once again, in true Spartan fashion, leave him with just enough to get away. Even with Arthas, I'm not allowed to kill a motherfucker. That's just the way it goes. And then this guy pulls out in front of me and smokes up. It's like, what are you doing, man? Good God. I'm afraid of the Montana. Well, then don't shoot your guns, but don't smoke up and let him hide. Dum-dum. Now, to be fair, this guy has played an okay game up to this point, so I can't really complain, but at the same time, that was just a really dumb smoke. It just is. Like, you're unlikely to get dev struck by that Montana at the range that Montana's going, and in all fairness, you can see I'm trying to bait out the Montana shot, and Montana does take a shot at the smoke screen, assuming, but we're going to go ahead and try to hit the back of the ship. You can see he is just border humping, and this is what he's going to do for the next 3 minutes until we end up getting rid of this guy. But you'll notice that I don't really try to close the distance here. I'm not trying to get closer to him. He's well within my range to shoot. Basically, what I'm trying to do is open up the angle. We know he's on the border. If he turns away from us, he's broadside to the rest of my team. They're able to kill him at that point. But if I can push up straight ahead and get to this guy's where he's basically just parallel to me, like that is ideal. And the closer we get to opening that angle, the better. You can see he's not getting much of anything against me because I'm angling. And so as he's thinking about using the front guns, you can see the front of the ship kind of turning towards us. Now remember, if you're border humping like this in a battleship, your engine is underpowered, and you're in a Montana that already struggles to turn. This is not how you want to be, right? You don't want to be here. But we don't get a good hit again. Our cruiser pulls out in front of us, which is a brave move. And he's gonna take some hits from the Montana, but again, that Montana hasn't showcased that he's been much of a threat to anybody during this match, so it is what it is. But notice how I don't go for the belt anymore. We're going right behind the rear turret. He's opened the angle plenty, and this shot showcases just what I'm talking about. Right through that cheek. Perfect shot right into that Citadel from the rear cheek, the thinner rear stern plating, getting around that belt armor. So just putting into practice a lot of the armor that I tell you guys about when I explain like the armor angles and stuff. That's what I'm talking about, right? Knowing your ship, knowing what you're up against, avoiding those big thick armor spots and going for the weaker spots of the armor. But I don't know how we only got 2,600 or 2,700 base. That was a 3K base game. I mean, look at, I got more medals than a North Korean general. We got 208,000 damage. We got an assist cap. We did everything. What do you want from me, Wargaming? But let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.